The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
Hi, it's Jamie from Light FM. If you're in your mid to late 20s, even your 30s like me, with a busy career and life but still haven't found your person to settle down with, by freezing your eggs now rather than later, you can embrace the possibility of parenthood and secure your family's future on your timetable. RMA has helped thousands of women, providing access to knowledgeable fertility specialists who answer questions and can support your plan for the future. Plan for Sunday today with RMA at rmanetwork.com.
Black women are 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related cause. That's why Thinx, the leader in reusable period and incontinence underwear, is partnering with iHeartRadio to raise funds and awareness for the Black Mamas Matter Alliance, a Black woman-led network that advocates, drives research, builds power, and shifts culture for Black maternal health, rights, and justice. Go to Thinx.com to make a purchase and support these efforts.
You will fail. So what? Everybody does. But your gym, your watch, your yoga pants, they pretend you won't. So when you miss a day, eat the pancakes. Give up on a workout? You failed? Seriously, what the hell? We're Body. We've been a part of that too, but not anymore. At Body, we're rejecting perfection and embracing reality. Not in a Pizza Monday kind of way, in a loving your whole life kind of way. In a, this workout is fun, and it's okay if I take a week off kind of way. In an, I'm eating healthy, and it's okay if I indulge kind of way. In a, I like myself no matter what kind of way. Yeah, you will fail. We all will. But we're not going to let that be the end. You see that? We're already making progress. So let's keep going. We are Body. Start your free trial at body.com. That's BODI.com.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthmacore Studios near Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
It's the Weedsman Podcast.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now,
you have smoked yourself retarded.
Here are the Weedsmen.
You want to get high?
Welcome to the Weedsman Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron.
And we really have meant to try to bring you a show every week this month. We were here last week, and we tried.
The computer failed us.
Again!
Microsoft failed us.
We're putting this one in the hands of old Billy Gates. It's his fault.
Yeah.
Him and his forced Windows update fucking our shit up.
Yep. And I would write him a strongly worded letter, personally signed, if it wasn't for the fact that I'm paying for this version of Windows.
And when he's one of our AI overlords, we want to make sure he's pleased with us. We want to be on his the side of his good ledger.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't done my reading on this, but the ChatGPT AI, right? That's apparently now part of Bing. Like the Bing uses, or I don't know if does it ask ChatGPT?
ChatGPT is apparently the new hotness, and it's just been everywhere for the last month.
You can get it on your phone now. You can talk to it directly on your phone. It's just AI, right? So it's AI that you're supposed to be able to chat with. You ask it questions, and it combs the internet.
Everyone's just willingly putting it on their device?
Yeah. We got nothing to hide anymore.
We're just inviting Skynet into our lives. Like, here you go. Like, just opening the door. Hey, you want a drink, Skynet? Put your feet up?
There was a famous story. You probably heard about this one. The journalist who, for a story, was chatting with it. And it wasn't along the lines of what he was talking about, but the AI at some point, said that he should leave his wife.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this.
And elope with him.
Yes.
Right? With AI fell in love and the with AI.
Yeah, yes.
Well, you could say you felt what does that mean? The chat GPT doesn't know what love is. We don't even know what love is.
It's true. Listen, I feel in the last 6 months, I don't know if we've brought some of these things up on this podcast.
Yeah.
In the last 6 months, we have seen the harbingers of many plot lines of many movies. We've seen self-replicating robots. Mm-hmm. We've seen did you see the one that turns into liquid?
Oh yeah, it can kind of melt, and it goes through the bars.
We had somebody telling us
that's the fucking T2 shit.
We had someone telling us AI is becoming sentient. Like, how many more warnings do we need? Like, I feel like we're getting into like the whole Jurassic Park shit, right? Like, what's Jeff Goldblum? Just because they could, they never thought about if they should.
Yeah, I was listening to Sam Harris was on Lex Friedman's podcast. It was a great conversation. Sam Harris is interesting, like, obviously super smart. I love him for how calm he is. Even when I disagree with him, or when he's I should more say, when he's disagreeing with somebody else, he remains calm and focused. But they were talking about AI, and he's like, we're not taking into consideration all these things. He was basically saying what you were saying. And he said, nobody's thinking about, like, how do you think it's going to work when you create a new race that is smarter than you?
You're creating beings.
And you think that you're going to rule them, right? You're going to create and rule a whole new race of beings that are smarter than you.
No, you're not. Yeah. For start, no, you're not.
Yeah. But
you're giving them artificial intelligence, but you're teaching them to procreate.
That's what he's saying, though. That like
replicate in their case.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's an inevitability. Like, I don't know how you would stop it at this point. And it's one of those things that's going, like, it isn't a slow rollout thing where we're going to be like, oh, that was maybe one step too far, and maybe we should take a step back and, like, not do this. It's going to be a tipping point.
Dude, the liquid one was free. That's T-1000's the regular Terminator, right? Or no, it was T-1000 Robert Patrick?
No,
whichever one the Liquid Terminator
Wait a
is,
minute.
they fucking made the Liquid Terminator.
Yeah, the Liquid Terminator was T-1000, right? Because didn't the other one didn't Arnold have, like, a different model number?
Oh, hold on. I'm sure there's a YouTube clip for it. He's T-800.
T-800, yes. Yeah, and the T-1000 was the Robert Patrick one.
Concentration unit. Part man, part machine. Underneath, it's a hyperalloy combat chassis. Microprocessor controlled. Fully armored. Very tough. But outside, it's living human tissue. Flesh, skin, hair, blood.
Why does this guy sound like T.J. Miller?
Reese, I don't know what you want. Pay attention!
That's the guy telling her who the Terminator is.
He sounds like T.J. Miller getting a blowjob.
Right? Not some dude in the 80s who looks like they wanted Don Johnson.
Rubber skin. We spotted them easy. But these are new. They look human. Sweat, bad breath.
I was hoping everyone in the clip where he tells her what he is. I'm a neuroprocessing unit. But yeah, the thing, the robot that turned itself into a puddle and came out the little bars and then made it like, James Cameron made a movie about this 30 years ago.
Yeah. Well, but here's another thought experiment for you. If they are smarter than us, like if we make AI that is essentially sentient and is able to, I mean, like, smarter is such a vague term, actually. Let's just say we make a race of beings that's able to process information vastly faster than we can, which means, like, how do you beat them in a battle of wits, a physical battle, any kind of, if they can literally think faster than you.
How about
right?
the other side? Motherfuckers are going to start, they're bringing back the woolly mammoth. Like, are we actually going to do Jurassic Park? Are you serious?
Are you?
I know dinosaurs are dumber than us, but guess what? A T-Rex is bigger than both of us and would eat us.
Right. So the singularity is actually going to cut mankind out of the loop, right? We're going to create AI on one end, and then we're going to revive dinosaurs on the other end. And AI is going to see the superiority of the dinosaur form, and we're going to have to fight. No, we're going to have to fight cybernetic dinosaurs.
And I'm not making that up.
That's what I'm saying.
Within the next, I think what did they say? 2027 or 2028? Mm-hmm. Woolly mammoth.
Yeah.
Like they're doing it. Like apparently the science exists now.
Well, yeah, I mean, they'll probably, what would they implant it into an elephant?
I think they're just doing it in a lab. Because they got the genetic material.
They just grow the fucker. So we're going to be able to get woolly mammoth steaks. We'll be able to get that rack of ribs that Fred Flintstone gets on, that tips over the whole fucking car. Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, I could tip over my old Encore, no problem. Yeah, but like, can we not do this with the pterodactyl?
Why?
You could never leave your pets outside ever again if we bring back the pterodactyl.
Yeah, that's all next door.
Or your children.
All next door would be is like pterodactyl sighting.
Yeah.
Everybody lock up your animals. You ever see a pelican? They look just like a pterodactyl when they're flying in the sky.
It's their retarded descendant, the pelican.
Yeah, why is, like, pelicans are always kind of depicted as kind of dopey, right?
Yeah. Well, they look dopey.
Is that? Yeah, I guess they do.
Dopey looking. Ever seen a pelican in real life? It don't look like there's a lot going on inside that brain. It looks like it's thinking about fish.
Yeah, but that's all birds except for owls, right? So, the only reason we think owls have some intelligence that other birds don't is because they have eyes that face forward.
Judgy fuckers.
Yeah, they can look us in the eye. We can't even tell when a bird's looking at us.
All the while, the smartest bird, the crow.
It's true. Well, we don't even know if they're the smartest, but
they've learned how to use tools.
Yeah. Well,
that's one thing that separates us from right.
But what I'm saying is that they are a species of bird that lives amongst mankind and interacts with these things on a daily basis. So these stories that we hear about them picking up like bottle caps and putting them in machines to get food, picking up cigarette butts, attacking people, stuff like that. There could be many, many birds out there with these capabilities. They could be even smarter than crows, and they don't live anywhere near man, right? The toucan could be the smartest motherfucking bird out there, and he just I don't fuck with those people. Right? Yeah, I could pick up cigarettes. Look at this fucking beak. I could scoop them up by the fucking dozens.
Are you calling crows the white trash of the animal kingdom? Bird phylum?
I'm saying we have a skewed measure of intelligence, and that when animals can do stuff for us, we think they're smart. And when they can't, other than feed us, we think they're dumb.
Dude, I do not think dogs are smart.
No, I'm not saying, I'm not pointing the finger at you.
You can train a dog to do the shit you want. I'm
saying in general.
Well, I'm saying, no, it's my personal opinion. I think dogs are fucking, I grew up with dogs. I think dogs are idiots.
You can train all kinds of animals to do all kinds of different shit. You can train insects to do shit. You can train rats to do shit. Cockroaches. All these things that we look at as just vermin, actually, you can train them to do shit. Which shows that they have some, intelligence, have some memory. They have something going on in there.
Dogs are big, dumb oafs. Even the little ones.
Yeah, and there's no adage that you can't teach an old rat new tricks. As far as I know, that you can teach them anything at any age.
Can't teach cats shit. And I respect that.
Yeah. Because you gotta whiff them. What's in it for me? What? Like the dog, you whiff the dog.
But the dog just blindly follows you.
But yeah, you whiff him with a pet. I'll pet you on the head if you do this. And he's like, I'll do that shit all fucking day.
Yeah.
It's a quantum breakthrough, as long as we were talking about science-y shit, if it's going to be one of these episodes. University of Bristol published a quantum breakthrough paves way for world first experimental wormhole through a process they're calling
talking about more shit we shouldn't be fucking with.
Counterportation.
What if you succeed? What are you going to let in to this dimension?
Well, it's not going necessarily another dimension. A wormhole is bending times. You see Stranger Things.
Just bending time and space.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah, who knows what the fuck could happen? Is my point.
We're just bending it. We're not breaking it, okay?
What if the guy who succeeds just vaporizes, just disappears?
You saw Stranger Things, right? You fold the paper over and you stick the pencil through it. That's a wormhole. Actually, they stole that from something else. What was it? I can't remember. Anyway.
From my childhood, lots of wormholes in closets, under beds.
I think, like wormwood?
No, I just meant...
Narnia?
I guess.
What are you talking about? Why were there wormholes under your bed?
Well, no, I'm just saying because I didn't see Stranger Things. But I'm saying, my childhood, it was more like closets under the bed.
Oh yeah, like
something in the backyard.
Poltergeist, when the clown tries to pull that kid into the closet into another dimension. I thought, what were they doing with those people? Why were they kept trying to pull them into the other dimension? Like, why? What?
Hey, listen, it was the 80s. You need to answer questions.
Yeah, like
why?
There's one ghost sitting on the other side going, you people are short-sighted. Like, sure, you can pull the kid into the realm, get them all gooey, but then what?
Yeah, Poltergeist 2 is just, now what?
Yeah.
We got them.
You should just leave them in their house and then you can just torture them for the rest of their lives. Like, just haunt them. Why are you bringing them over here? What are we going to do with them now? We got to feed them or they just die and then you can't scare them anymore.
Now we got to find new people to fuck with. We could have just kept fucking with these people.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what's wrong with Poltergeist. Nobody talks sense into those ghosts.
Yes, that's what's wrong with that movie.
Yeah. Oh, also, and they didn't move the bodies.
So we're making a wormhole?
Sure. Let's make a wormhole. Here's the instructions right here. There's a diagram for it. So get a piece of paper and just draw this out.
Can I do this with common household items, Mr. Wizard?
Yeah, get some baking soda, vinegar,
a rubber band,
a 2-liter bottle, some duct tape.
Yeah. Some dish soap.
Yeah. Bendy straw.
A mouth harp.
A mouth harp. That's just to entertain yourself while you're working.
Yeah, right.
By deploying a novel computing scheme revealed in the journal Quantum Science, which harnesses the basic laws of physics, a small object can be reconstituted across space without any particles crossing.
How?
Among other things, it provides a smoking gun, quote unquote, for the existence of a physical reality underpinning our most accurate description of the world. What?
Yeah.
Counterportation provides the first ever practical blueprint for creating in the lab a wormhole that verifiably bridges space as a probe into the inner workings of the universe. Yeah, so they're calling it counterportation because, well, it's the prestige. They're just making, it's a blueprint to make a copy of something with a limiter in it that makes the old one disintegrate.
No. Because then we get into the existential thing, right?
Like what happens in that millisecond?
Is it the same thing? Or is it like multiplicity?
Yeah. Right. Oh, does it degenerate? Yeah. That's, I think that might be a concern. Yeah, definitely. But in my movie version of this, it would be like everyone uses this all the time. And then at some point, like a failure happens, right? And what happens? Like their old body, the system shuts down right when their old body is about to be disintegrated, at the location A, we'll say, right? Whereas in location B, Their new body has already been made. And so both exist at the same time and continue to exist because the machine didn't kill the old one. But you also find out that in that split second, when you like get reconstituted and then you dissolve, like you actually experience, because time is meaningless in this state, you actually experience like a lifetime of horror, right?
Yeah.
In that death. And everyone's finding out that like, wait, I essentially am like dying and going to hell every time I teleport. I just don't remember it because it doesn't happen to the new me that gets reconstituted at the other end.
Is 88 miles an hour involved at any point? And then,
so hell is just overflowing with or not even hell, right? Just the afterlife is just overflowing with these duplicate souls.
Hey, how you doing? Back again.
Yeah, you go out there and there's like, 2,847 versions of you wandering around.
It's like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
It's a sequel, right? What happened all those times he died?
This is a quote from one of the scientists that came up with this plan. Here's the sharp distinction, I think he's saying, between counterportation and teleportation. While counterportation achieves the end goal of teleportation, namely disembodied transport, it remarkably does so without any detectable information carriers traveling across. So it's not like you're beaming somewhere. Like you're destroying something in one area and creating it in another.
So maybe this isn't for humans? Perhaps we start with objects?
Yeah, maybe this is, you're right. Like, we're thinking the end game is to be able to walk into a Star Trek teleporter and beam down to another planet. But
if I'm in the shipping industry, I'm trying to keep this thing down. I want to destroy whatever the research are doing. I want to kill this.
Yeah.
Found a trucking company.
Yep. Yeah, I'd be, if I was a scientist working on this, I'd be looking over my shoulder for brown shirts. They'll be coming for my ass. Yeah, I hear you're in the teleporting business. Well, actually, sir, it's counterportation. Yeah, I didn't ask.
Yeah, right. Just whip his ass. Throw a UPS hat on him. Go clean yourself up.
Yeah. Stay out of the teleport business, Sulu.
Hey, why don't you beam this up?
I'm thinking about the two guys in Big Lebowski. The hell is this? Obviously, you're not a golfer.
Hey, why don't you tell Captain Kirk I said I?
Yeah. That's exactly what it would be. All right. Well, hey, maybe we should start thinking about teleporting people because we might have to get out of here in a quickness when those robo-dinosaurs come after us.
Right? Yeah, then what happens if they meet? What happens if that technology meets?
Those mastodons with
replicating dinosaurs.
Mastodons with frickin' laser beams mounted on their heads.
Liquefy.
Yeah, T-1000 mastodons. With lasers instead of tusks.
Or no, tusks that shoot lasers.
Okay, actually, I want tusks that just shoot out like how Godzilla would shoot his fist. The Robo Godzilla would shoot his fist out.
And the dogs that have bees in their mouth. So when they bark, they shoot bees.
Exactly.
I'd robot transformers. They already. I'd the Triceratops.
No, you said robot transformers.
Yeah.
No, you mean dinosaur transformers.
Yes.
They're all robots.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's the worst transformer ever. Transform a robot into a robot. They're just running out of ideas.
The Dinobots were my absolute favorite. And I've actually considered because they're available. They're out there. They They're not outrageous, but they're a little pricey. You'll pay, if you want something in decent condition, it's going to be $50, $60.
I had one, and I left it at this kid's house.
Yeah.
I never saw it again.
Which one did you have?
The Triceratops.
I believe that was slag.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. Actually, check me on this. I'm going to see if I can name them all. There was, of course, Grimlock, who was the Tyrannosaurus Rex. There was Slag. I'm not going to be able to do this, am I? Slag was the Triceratops. There was a Brontosaurus.
So far you got Grimlock and Slag.
Yeah. There's a Brontosaurus, a Stegosaurus, and a Pterodactyl. There were 5 in the original lineup. Is that correct?
Yes. So Grimlock, Slag.
Jeez.
Really, it gives their personalities. It doesn't give what fucking dinosaur they were. Are you serious? It says the leader, the bad boy, the dim one, the quiet one, the sensitive one. I don't know fucking dinosaur they were. Then you get into the ancillary Dinobots. The Pete Best one? What the okay.
Pete Best?
Yeah.
What? I don't know what.
Yeah, the one that got kicked out of the Beatles before, like.
How is he a dinosaur?
Maybe he was supposed to be one of the original ones, and they made him an ancillary one. The one-man band. The tragic motivating backstory, a.k.a. the Stu Sutcliffe one.
What the fuck are you reading?
Wikipedia.
Somebody's having a laugh.
The two-headed alien one and the clever girl.
Oh, they're calling it because it was probably a raptor of some sort.
But yeah, I mean, they had Grimlock, Slag, Sludge, Snarl, and Swoop.
That's right. I forgot they were all S's except for Grimlock.
Actually, Snarl sounds more familiar. Or maybe I had Slag. I don't know.
Wait, was Snarl the Stegosaurus? That's the problem with crowdsourcing this type of information. They're such a fan of Dinobots that they are going deep, deep into the lore, and they don't start with like a basic description of what the fuck is it.
Yeah.
They're assuming everyone knows who's who. Come on, everybody knows Sludge is a softie.
The sensitive one.
The sensitive one. The robot dinosaur. They talked like the Hulk on the cartoon. They're like, me, Grimlock.
Grimlock, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Slag, he was his Triceratops. Sludge was the
Stegosaurus.
Brontosaurus.
Oh, it's the Brontosaurus, really?
Snarl.
So Snarl was the
Stegosaurus.
Oh, that makes sense. He's spiky.
Swoop was the Pteranodon.
Never would have guessed that one. I had the Transformers comics. I wish I still had my Transformers comics from back in the day. Not that I never kept my shit in good enough condition that it would be worth anything. But I imagine those are probably big print runs. They're probably not worth a whole lot anyway. But they were fun comics.
Oh man, I'm just in a Transformers fucking K-hole right now.
Yeah,
I gotta close this tab.
What was your favorite? Did you have a prized Transformer?
I didn't have many. Dude, I had He-Man shit. I had all the Masters of the Universe shit. That was the shit I had.
He-Man shit.
I'm trying to think of the Transformers I had. Voltron. Voltron, also my jam.
Yeah, I never had any Voltron toys, but there's some pretty badass Voltron toys. They did the whole transforming lions into the...
I had a lot of Ghostbusters toys.
Oh, yeah? The real Ghostbusters?
Yes, the real Ghostbusters. The one with the proton packs. Not that crazy-ass bootleg Ghostbusters. I believe we brought it up on this show.
Yeah. Well, remember that they were trying to hitch their wagon to the Ghostbusters movie, obviously, but it was based on an old TV show that actually predated the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, they owned the
movie.
name first, so they got to use it.
Yeah.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
Hi, Hi, it's Jamie from Light FM. If you're in your mid to late 20s, even your 30s like me, with a busy career and life but still haven't found your person to settle down with, by freezing your eggs now rather than later, you can embrace the possibility of parenthood and secure your family's future on your timetable. RMA has helped thousands of women, providing access to knowledgeable fertility specialists who answer questions and can support your plan for the future. Plan for Sunday today with RMA at rmanetwork.com.
Black women are 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related cause. That's why Thinx, the leader in reusable period and incontinence underwear, is partnering with iHeartRadio to raise funds and awareness for the Black Mamas Matter Alliance, a Black woman-led network that advocates, drives research, builds power, and shifts culture for Black maternal health, rights, and justice. Go to Thinx.com to make a purchase and support these efforts.
Are you seeking a meaningful career that positively impacts the lives of others? New Jersey courts are hiring full-time information technology analysts. If you have a degree in computer science, information technology, UX/UI design, or business analytics, or have career experience in these areas, we invite you to apply for a rewarding career with opportunities for growth. Make a difference doing work that matters with a competitive salary, comprehensive benefits, on-the-job training, partial remote work, and paid holidays. Apply today at njcourts.gov/careers.
Hi, it's Jamie from Light FM. If you're in your mid to late 20s, even your 30s like me, with a busy career and life but still haven't found your person to settle down with, by freezing your eggs now rather than later, you can embrace the possibility of parenthood and secure your family's future on your timetable. RMA has helped thousands of women, providing access to knowledgeable fertility specialists who answer questions and can support your plan for the future. Plan for Sunday today with RMA at rmanetwork.com.
Black women are 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related cause. That's why Thinx, the leader in reusable period and incontinence underwear, is partnering with iHeartRadio to raise funds and awareness for the Black Mamas Matter Alliance, a Black woman-led network that advocates, drives research, builds power, and shifts culture for Black maternal health, rights, and justice. Go to Thinx.com to make a purchase and support these efforts.
New Jersey courts are hiring information technology analysts. If you have a degree or work experience in computer science, IT, UX/UI design, or business analytics, we invite you to apply. Make a difference doing work that matters. Apply now at njcourts.gov/careers.
ChristopherMedia.net. The Weedsman Podcast.
The Last of Us wrapped up its first of 2 seasons.
All right, I wanted to ask you about this.
Yeah, what's up?
Did it start getting shitty? Because it seemed like the first month it was on, everyone talked about it, and the second month it was on, I was starting to be like, is that show still on? And then all of a sudden I heard the finale happened.
Well, it was short. It was 9 episodes, which was a lot shorter than I thought.
I guess the word of mouth on the first month seemed great, and then it seemed to disappear on the second month.
I don't know. I think that's just normal, but I think it's, as far as reviews that I've read and you know, people talking about it on podcasts and stuff. No, it was solid all the way through. It definitely, I mean, I already obviously knew the story. I played the first game through twice now, and they don't deviate from the story in any major way. They add stuff to it that enriches it, but the core of the story is there, and the ending is like almost identical. I think
Save the princess.
I think, yeah, yep. She wasn't in another castle either, but I think a lot of people are hesitant to talk about it just because of spoilers. Like, everybody knows about it. It's like the biggest show on HBO. It's one of the biggest shows out there, but it's one of those stories where I'd be very nervous about spoilers myself, because it is kind of all in the reveal. It's not, I don't know. I mean, it's out there now, so I guess we can just go ahead and talk about the ending. And I'm assuming that if you wanted to watch it, you would have done so already.
You're correct.
So I'm not going to spoil anything for you. So, you know, just skip ahead 3 minutes or so if you're really worried about it. But So the whole point of these two traveling together is that Ellie, the young girl, is immune to the fungus that is taking over and zombifying everyone.
So the chosen one, so to speak. Neo.
Yeah, so the question is why and how and can they do it? And so obviously there's people that think like, oh, this could save the human race. This could, we could finally kill this fungal disease. Anyway, so they're on a mission to get to where this hospital is, where this group of people have the resources apparently to make a cure, or at least they hope to. And so this guy who we see at the beginning in the movie, when everything kind of fell apart, the initial outbreak, he loses his teenage daughter. And that just sends him down a really bad path. He's, post-apocalypse, he spends a lot of time, they just talk about it, they don't show you, but he spends a lot of time being a bad guy, being a raider, or, just taking advantage of people, looking out for number one type of dude. And this mission that he kind of gets roped into of transporting this young girl makes him realize that, he could be something different again. And he comes to love her, and she loves him. She doesn't have any family. He's got no one else. And they become family for each other. And then when he gets her to the hospital, he finds out that they plan on just cutting her open and finding the cure. They are not really concerned about saving her life. They're more concerned about obviously saving everyone else, which makes sense.
Sorry.
Right. There's a lot of debate online as to...
We'll tell your tale.
Not only just, of course, the ethics of that, kill one person to save, it's the trolley problem. But also, did they really have to do that? Couldn't they have done a spinal? Couldn't they have done, a biopsy first and all this shit? Yeah, but this is post-apocalypse. You're lucky to find a doctor, much less the right equipment to do all this. And who knows? But, for the purposes of the story, just tell yourself this is the only option that they had. Well, when Joel, the guy who is escorting Ellie and who kind of becomes her father figure, hears about this, he does what you imagine one would do in that situation, and he takes out anybody getting in his way to save his quote-unquote daughter. So he kills a bunch of people, including the doctor getting ready to cut her open, and takes her away from that place before they can start the procedure. And it's a crazy scene. It played out in the show exactly how you play it in the game. And in the game, you go through and all these guys are coming after you with guns, and you're like,
good music for it.
I don't remember. Yeah, the music's great in it. But no, it's not a needle drop, if that's what you mean. It's a very dramatic, in the show, they do it all kind of through slow motion. They don't try and glorify the violence. Yeah, I mean, you're going through this hospital. These guys are trying to shoot you like they are throughout the whole game, and you're just shooting them back. And then you get to the operating room, and the doctor grabs a scalpel and says, I'm not going to let you take her. And now you got to make a decision. Well, it's not really... You don't really make decisions in the game. You kind of have to do it, but it allows you to delay it. So I tried to I was like, I don't want to kill the doctor. Why don't I just knock him out, shoot him in the leg or something? And you can't advance in the game until you kill that doctor. And in the show, the guy says, I won't let you take her, and barely finishes a sentence, and Joel's like, okay, boom, right to the eyes. So
damn.
Wow, well, he's a lot more cold-blooded than I was. So not only does he take her, but he lies to her. He tells her, it turns out there are other people like you. They've been looking for a cure. They haven't had any luck so far. Maybe they got some information from you. But then raiders came in, killed everyone, and we barely got out. And that's it. Part 2 happens years later. She believes him, and she goes on with her life. And they don't cut her open, and they don't find a cure. So it's kind of a crazy story.
It sounds pretty intense.
It is. It's super, super intense. And not even in the way of like, I don't know. There's a lot of people out there like, oh, I'm kind of burnt out on the zombie thing. You know, there's been Walking Dead and Zombieland, all this stuff. And it's almost unfortunate that this game or this story uses what is essentially zombies, even though they're people infected with a fungus. Because it literally could be anything, right? I mean, for a video game, you have to have some action, right? So you make it zombies because you have a lot of things that you can tear through and blow up and all that shit. But for the story itself, it could be absolutely anything, any kind of disease or enemy or whatever, you know. Because it's definitely not your typical zombie story.
That seems to be a common thread I keep hearing. It ain't The Walking Dead.
And then for The Mandalorian to start up right after that, or I think there was some overlap too. It's kind of crazy. Well, because it's the same story, right? The Mandalorian is about a kind of outlaw guy who doesn't really have a lot of friends, kind of keeps to himself, and then comes across a child who sets him on a different path and shows him that there's love in the world. And they form a bond in their travels. It's the same fucking exact story. But then to like go back to The Mandalorian, and you've got the same actor who plays Joel, plays the Mandalorian, but you never see him because he never takes his helmet off because he's a Mandalorian. So you see the same actor doing the same shit, but you never get to see his face. And he's doing it with this little rubber puppet. And it's just kind of falling flat.
Really?
Well,
by season 3, that's where you're at?
Well, no, I'm saying, like, when you compare that to the intensity and the amazing acting that they're doing in The Last of Us, and it's impossible not to compare it. Because it's, again, the same story with the same fucking actor. It just doesn't, it looks gray in comparison to this vivid story they were telling in The Last of Us. Besides that, too, they're just kind of going through the motion so far on The Mandalorian. Whereas The Last of Us is based on a video game that was very different in its story than a traditional video game. The Mandalorian, not based on a video game, it just feels like it was. Because everything is just like these little missions, right? Oh, Mando, he took his helmet off in the last season, and now he's not like quote unquote true Mandalorian anymore. So he has to regain his status, right? So to do that, he's got to go back to his home planet and bathe in these original waters or whatever the fuck it is. But to do that, he wants a droid with him, so he's got to go get the old droid and find the right chip to put in the droid. And you're like, these are all just submissions.
Well, I'm sure there was a Mandalorian video game, right? Did it play out the same way?
No, they haven't done one.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
It just takes so fucking long to develop them. And they've had really good success with the first Fallen Order video game, which is really good. And I'm looking forward to the next one's coming out next month. Unless they push it back again. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know, they're just doing stuff, right? They're just going on missions, and that little fucking puppet is just cooing at everything. And I'm just starting to get annoyed by it, I think. I'm definitely over the Baby Yoda thing. Like, that was a nice concept, worked for a season.
Grogu,
but now,
child.
Now Grogu is just...
You're over Grogu?
Just a pain in the ass.
You're like, fucking, don't they drown that thing?
Well, what the fuck, man? Like,
leave him at the leave him on Mos Eisley in the cantina.
Can he do shit or can he not? Is he helpless or is he a fucking all-powerful Jedi? Just make up your fucking mind. Like, most of the time he's just a little baby, either waddling around or being pushed around in his floating pram. But when he needs to, all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm going to pilot a ship. Oh, I'm going to fight a huge monster. Like, he literally, he gets in the Mandalorian ship and takes it back to the other planet that they were just at to go get help. I'm like, but he can't communicate, right? He hasn't figured out any way to, like, say anything. No words. No hand signals. He doesn't even point at shit. Like, how does it? I don't even understand how Mando gets any information out of that little kid.
Kick him.
Yeah.
He's the size of a little soccer ball.
I don't know. I mean, there's been some cool scenes with some new aliens, some new weird creatures. Good design overall, good directing. It's just like not doing much as a story. And what they're really missing is a why for any of this. You know? Like, I understand.
So Disney can make money.
Right. No, but the why of the Mandalorian has to go back to his home planet so that he can bathe in these waters, so that he can be, it's like a baptism essentially, right? Mm-hmm. So he needs to get rebaptized in order to be part of his holy order again, which is fine, but you have to have at some point that character tell us, the audience, why that's so important to him, right? Because he's not living amongst the Mandalorians. He's still traveling around. He can do anything he wants. He goes and visits an old friend and he's like, stay here. Have a farm. I've got land for you. You've helped us out so much. This could be your retirement plan. And he's like, nah, I got shit to do. Okay, but like, why? Why does it mean that much to you? I understand that it does. But unless you communicate why, I can't go with you on that journey. You're just like, okay, I guess he's got to do what he's got to do. He's just a stubborn idiot.
But that's supposed to be part of the draw. Ooh, he's mysterious. You don't know why. We'll tell you, not yet. But you're basically like, by season 3, tell me fucking why.
You got to give me some why, you know? Like he gets a Bo-Katan, played by the great Katie Sackhoff, who was also Starbuck in the Battlestar Galactica reboot. She comes on, and actually, she's the one who comes to the Mandalorian's rescue when he tries to go back to his home planet and gets trapped by this weird creature. And during that process, when they come back, they're followed by the Empire, and a bunch of TIE fighters bomb her house. And she's like, oh, they just blew up my shit. And she's fucking pissed. And now she's kind of on the run with the Mandalorian, right? Well, you've got a secondary character who has much more motivation right there than your main character does. We know why, right? They blew up her shit. We saw her get angry. We saw her vow revenge for it, right? There you go. That's all I need, right? I'm not saying like they got to dig deeper and it needs to be these deep character explorations and I want long drawn out monologues about their inner workings. No, just give me something. Just show me what their motivation is. You can't just expect, well, he's Mandalorian, right? That might mean, that's the fan service talking. They're writing this show for people who are like, well, the Mandalorians, and they'll sit down and tell you all about the Mandalorian lore. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. They all look like Boba Fett, and I could give a fuck what their religion is. They just look cool. So you got to give me something other than that. Well, he's a Mandalorian. That's what they do. You know, this is really important to them. No. This is your main character. He's something other than a Mandalorian. That's why he's your main character. If he was just a Mandalorian, this wouldn't be an interesting story. So you got to show us something else. What makes this guy different? What makes this guy tick? other than him just being a Mandalorian. That can't explain all of his actions. Anyway, now that I spoiled all current television.
Right.
We were talking, I think last time we recorded now, or maybe it was not, but about Kevin Smith quitting. And I heard the episode where he talks about it. Remember we were talking about this?
Yes.
Yeah. And I listened to the podcast that he recorded where he talks about quitting smoking. It just stuck out to me because he was like, he said that he had went to the doctor recently and had like a full workup and everything. And he was like, yeah, and the doctor says my brain's fine. You know, luckily, like, 15 years of smoking pot didn't hurt anything. I guess I dodged a bullet there. And I'm like, or like there's no science to show us that any drug has caused brain damage. Really, none of them. Even though we've all heard stories about like what pot will do to you, what we've heard stories about ecstasy, like putting holes in your brain.
I mean, I've taken acid. I bet you take acid a lot. It might fucking do something to you.
It could. Well, drugs will rewire. They do rewire your brain chemistry, and they do something to your brain. But that's not brain damage, right? That's just rewiring your brain to now rely on a drug. All drugs do that. Caffeine does that. Sugar does that. Nicotine does that. Pot does that. Every single drug is rewiring your brain chemistry. But this notion that like there'll be some residual damage because of that, there's no proof of it. No proof anywhere. People who have done heroin their whole life, William S. Burroughs, if they did an autopsy on his brain, they'd probably find no brain damage. It looks like a normal old fucking brain, It's not damaging your brain. It's it can
tempered heroin.
It can damage a lot of other things. I'm not promoting heroin. A lot of drugs will fuck up other parts of your body. They'll fuck up your liver. They'll fuck up your teeth. They'll fuck up all kinds of body parts. But the brain, all they're doing is rewiring it. That's all. They're not hurting it. They're not putting holes in it. What is brain damage anyway? Like brain damage is when you smack a brain, when you bruise a brain, when you hurt a brain, like physical damage to your brain. Like you could overcook it. That's about all you can do to a brain other than physically damaging it. You can overheat it and kill a brain that way.
That's true.
But that's it. So I don't know. Like how do you smoke pot for 15 years and have zero idea of what it's doing to your body? I don't know.
Willfully ignorant?
Seth Rogen has a podcast called Life is Short. Did you know that?
I've learned it recently, yes.
I did not know that. He had Justin Long on, and the connection between the two would be Kevin Smith, because he's worked with both of those guys. Justin Long quite a bit, actually. And Seth Rogen had Justin Long on his podcast, and Justin Long said to him, I just heard that Kevin Smith stopped smoking weed. So I guess it was a question. There's a question mark on it. Rogen says, did he? Wow. He went the other way with it. And then he goes on to say, I think if you come into weed late in your life, it's easier to give up. You're an interloper. You're a tourist. It's just a phase for you. You think you're adopting a whole thing, and years later you're like, what am I doing here? This is not me. But for me, it is me, he says. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I like to think it's a big part of me, but I like to, at this point in my life, I like to not think like it doesn't define me.
Right, it is me.
As I say it on a podcast I've been doing about it for 10 years.
Right.
But
yeah, I think, he's being a little hyperbolic, I think. Because when you say it is me, that what you're saying conversely is without pot, you're nothing, right? So is Seth Rogen saying like he wouldn't be funny if it wasn't for weed? I don't know. Maybe he believes that.
Maybe he needs to stop. He hasn't been funny for like 10 years. Like, it's been a long time since Pineapple Express.
I don't know.
Knocked up.
That's true.
Like that North Korea movie was terrible.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess The Room was good.
It's just a bad time for comedy, though.
But there's still people who are funny. Seth Rogen stopped being funny.
Yeah. Well, when you can make a shit ton of movie just producing things, and then people don't get on your case for shit that you say, I could see that as being appealing.
I mean, I have hope because no one has come for Bill Burr yet. He has managed to make it through Me Too and cancel culture.
Well, Bill Burr's one more piece of evidence towards you can't actually cancel somebody. They have to, everyone who's been canceled has all tried to play the game.
Well, the people who get canceled are the people who apologize. The people who don't apologize don't get canceled.
Exactly. Yes.
The bet for Bill having a black wife helps.
What?
So the bet for Bill having a black wife helps.
Helps.
A little bit of a shield.
Oh, I see. I was trying to put that together. I'm imagining hey, Bill, does it ever get to you and people try and cancel you? And he's like, yeah, but I just go back and fuck my black wife and forget about all of it.
Well, to his credit, he never plays that card.
Yeah.
But it's think of it. No one can ever throw the race card at Bill Burr.
Dude, they throw the race card at black people.
That's true. That's right. Larry Elder, the black face of white supremacy.
Yes,
that's true.
Exactly. Yeah. Nothing's going to stop them. It just depends on what they do with the race card.
They've thrown it at Kanye. They've thrown it at Candace Owens.
They throw it at Bill Burr and he doesn't even flinch. And they're like, well, that's no fun.
Well, true. He's also I'm from Boston. What, are you surprised? He just turns it back around on him.
They're used to, most people I start throwing these race cards at, they start dancing for me. That's really entertaining. Because that's all you're fucking doing is trying to control people. Rogan talks about Weinstein in this podcast as well, saying that, noting that it was his first box office disappointment, blaming that one largely on Harvey Weinstein. You made a movie with Kevin Smith, dude. I'm not throwing any shade at Smith, but he doesn't make blockbusters.
Yeah.
So if you're expecting a Kevin Smith movie to blow up and, I don't know what kind of points you had on it, but net you some billions, not gonna fucking happen.
By the way, watched Chasing Amy again the other day.
Yeah, hold up.
Haven't seen it since I was in my teens and 20s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not so much.
Well, first of all, Affleck had his original teeth, which was distracting.
That's right. He was OTA, old teeth Affleck.
Yeah, it was mildly distracting because it was oh yeah, used to be poor. But too, just some of the dialogue, it was just
yeah.
And what happened to Jason Lee? He was everywhere for 10 years, and then poof.
Well, he did My Name is Earl.
Yeah, he had a network TV show and everything.
And that lasted for a while, and he seemed to be doing well with it, and then just never did anything. Maybe he doesn't have to do anything. Maybe he was finally, maybe that show ended, he looked at his bank account and he said, I'm going back to fucking skateboarding for the rest of my fucking life. Right. Because that's all I want to do. I never wanted to work anyway. This is just easy money.
Right? That's true. I always forget he was a skateboarder.
Yeah. Yeah, he said, this is Rogan on Weinstein. I remember all the other studio heads coming up to me and saying, just so you know, he doesn't know how to release a fucking movie. He is not behind you. They are not putting as much money in this as he's saying they are.
Which movie is this?
This is Zack and Miri.
Oh.
This is not like your other movies. Those movies have real studios behind them. This one has a line item behind it. I'm not sure what that means, the line item behind it.
I found Zack and Miri.
It was just contractual.
Hilarious.
Is that what he means? Yeah, Zack and Miri is funny. Zack and Miri is funny as fuck. That was a pretty big movie for, what's her face that played Jack's girlfriend on 30 Rock. That does.
Oh, Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah, that did the Cocaine Bear movie.
Which I guess making tons of money didn't cost much to make, so she gets a W on that one.
Yep.
Because the last movie she directed was that Charlie's Angels remake, which tanked.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that that's your reaction about it is everything.
I forgot.
Oh, yeah, they made that one.
Yeah. The one I didn't see.
Yeah, the one that if you didn't like it, you were a misogynist.
Oh, because this one is actually directed by a woman?
Yeah.
I don't know. I enjoyed the how many of the original did they make? Was it 2?
I saw none of them.
I don't know. I couldn't tell the two of them apart, but they were both very entertaining. One of them has Crispin Glover as the villain in it. I think it's the first one.
George McFly?
Yes. George McFly. And just a weirdo. Just a fucking true freak Crispin Glover is. I don't think there's another weirder person out there.
Yeah, he played the hell out of George McFly.
Get your damn hands off of her.
You're gonna go touch her on her? Yes, George. Do you really think I should swear? Yes, God damn it, George, swear.
Oh, also great in you see River's Edge.
No.
It's about a bunch of kids who find a dead body in the woods.
And it's Stand By Me?
Yeah. But this is kind of a darker version of that.
What, do they fuck the dead body or?
No. It's just I don't know. It's it's like of the slacker generation of movies, I would put it, where it's like not really about anything.
Oh, do they like Weekend at Bernie's it? They put them in a car, drive around with them?
No, it's just about like, some kid stumbles across a dead body, he tells his friends, they go out and fuck around with it, and then they oh, no, that's it. The one kid killed it. It's a woman. It was a teenage girl, and the one guy killed her. That's it. Yeah, because Crispin Glover is like, I'm not going to let them put you away for this. And they go hide out at Dennis Hopper's place. He's some old weirdo. I haven't seen that in a long time. I got to rewatch it again. Anyway, maybe I'll watch that again before next week. Tune in to find out. Way this computer's acting, we'll see if there even is a next week.
Right. So go to the social media and find us at the Weisman 420 on Facebook and Twitter. You can like us, share us, retweet us, favorite us, whatever you can do now. And wherever, go to ChristopherMedia.net. It's a PayPal button if you'd like to help us out. And wherever you listen to the show, rate us, review us. That's how you help other people find the Weedsman podcast. Thank you for listening, and stay high.
Stay high.
It's Jamie from Light FM. If you're in your mid to late 20s, even your 30s like me, with a busy career and life but still haven't found your person to settle down with, by freezing your eggs now rather than later, you can embrace the possibility of parenthood and secure your family's future on your timetable. RMA has helped thousands of women, providing access to knowledgeable fertility specialists who answer questions and can support your plan for the future. Plan for someday, today with RMA at rmanetwork.com.
Black women are 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related cause. That's why Thinx, the leader in reusable period and incontinence underwear, is partnering with iHeartRadio to raise funds and awareness for the Black Mamas Matter Alliance, a Black woman-led network that advocates, drives research, builds power, and shifts culture for Black maternal health, rights, and justice. Go to Thinx.com to make a purchase and support these efforts.
The Coca-Cola Company, Keurig Dr. Pepper, and PepsiCo are bringing consumers more choices with less sugar than ever before. In fact, nearly 60% of beverages sold contain zero sugar. Visit balanceus.org to learn more.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
Hi, it's Jamie from Light FM. If you're in your mid to late 20s, even your 30s like me, with a busy career and life but still haven't found your person to settle down with, by freezing your eggs now rather than later, you can embrace the possibility of parenthood and secure your family's future on your timetable. RMA has helped thousands of women, providing access to knowledgeable fertility specialists who answer questions and can support your plan for the future. Plan for someday, today with RMA at rmanetwork.com.
Black women are 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related cause. That's why Thinx, the leader in reusable period and incontinence underwear, is partnering with iHeartRadio to raise funds and awareness for the Black Mamas Matter Alliance, a Black woman-led network that advocates, drives research, builds power, and shifts culture for Black maternal health, rights, and justice. Go to Thinx.com to make a purchase and support these efforts.